Good day, guys, to another, well, I guess returning episode of DA Dell Anthony Speaks. It's been a long time, you know, I have to go back to the drawing board and hopefully in the next, moving toward, I don't like to say trying, but moving towards a better future, a greater future, and what we do. This is where we bring sports content from the real fans, from the real people. I know there's people that'll say, you never played NBA, you never played the NFL, you never did this. Regardless, I have years of watching, observing, and appreciating. So just because you've never played, don't mean you don't know the concept of what's going on, you don't understand the politics. And even though there was a movie with Forrest Whitaker, I believe, called Vantage Point. So even if we're not in the game with you, so how could we know? We still see it from a different point of view and where we see it at. And this is why we say what we say. I'm going to cover 4 topics today. Please hit that like, subscribe, please share. But the first thing I want to talk about is Gilbert Arenas. Now, the Gil Arenas Arena or Gil Arenas show was like one of the best podcast shows for sports and intake. And they had a great chemistry built with the 4 guys. But what it seemed like is, if you remember Eddie Kane and the Heartbeats, whereas they was performing, and as they were performing, one person didn't like what the other person was doing, the other person didn't feel comfortable with what they was doing, so they started fighting on stage. With that happening, they choreographed and choreographed a situation where they ripped their stuff off, but it was part of the act. Obviously, this was no act because they're gone. There's no more Gil's Arenas. And even with the gridiron and all that stuff, Skip Bayless and stuff, it was funny because it's like Skip almost tried to weasel himself in to be a part of a show that can go and he could just be that guy with the quick takes, the quick whatever. He could say this or say that. But in saying that, I see that as when you watch a show and you binge watch and you have 4 seasons and then you get to the 4th season, 5th season, and then they want to go a different direction and you go, where's the show? And they canceled it. Then you hear, this person was disgruntled, that person was disgruntled, that person was disgruntled. I think Gil Arenas was going to do his own thing anyway. But why Underdog had to cancel and fire everybody is because if you started watching the show after Gil left, it just became like a bunch of people wanted to be Chiefs and not Indians. So Brandon will have his take, Nick will have his comic take, then you have, Rashad saying whatever he's saying, and then you had, Kenyon. But Kenyon was like the father of the group. Like he would say, that's stupid, that's dumb, you're an idiot, this and that. They used to go on 20-minute rants, and if you watch it, Skip Bayless would just be sitting there, twiddling his thumbs. It was one time when Josiah was there, Skip was so frustrated, he actually said, oh, and Josiah looked at him. So you catch little stuff like that. But this is not the first time through American history people have sat back, let other people build something, and then because they feel they might can get $1 off of it or can make $1 off of it, they try to squeeze that person out and do what else. And it happens in business. It happened with McDonald's. It happened with a situation that I was in. I'm not going to go into it. But when they feel that they can take over what you do, they try to come off like, nah, we don't need you. You're just a thing, we'll do it ourselves. And that happens. So what Gil's Arena was sad is that there's other shows that do what they do, but they had a nice dynamic. I think what hurt them is that Rashad McCants was playing a character, and then once the character started being poked at, then he took it sensitive and tried to just say stuff just for clickbait. I am a little old school because Nick Young, at one of the end of the episodes, McCants, who got started by Gil, putting them on Gil's Arena, tried to give credit to Underdog. So he had the hat on for Underdog. This is not for Commanders. I'm not sponsoring them. I'm a Las Vegas Raider fan. It's for that right there. But anyway, he tried to give them credit, so he had the underdog. As Nick Young said, he looked like a mascot, like he was in uniform. He was in full stock with the team. So he had the underdog, and gave shout out to underdog for letting them have the platform to do what they do. But Gil gave that platform. Come on, McCants. So the one thing from our block, from our neighborhood, if you're from New York, you already know this already. You don't invite a man to your private part unless you really have the stain to him and y'all gonna fight, or it might get worse than that because nowadays dudes don't like to knuckle up no more. But you don't invite somebody to your private part. So you heard Nick Young goes, "Oh, he's sucking, duh," and the way Nick said it, Kenya Martin spit up, Brandon Jennings looked away from the camera, Josiah laughed. Skip probably was like, "I don't understand this culture type of saying stuff because we don't talk like that from my culture." But it was funny. Now, what makes that hilarious or unbelievable is that you should never make a move to show your hand to say, "This is what I'm going to do," unless you're sure you're going to do that. And I don't think McCants had anything in writing or for sure that he was going to do that. He was going off for walking through the green room, drinking your coffee or your energy drink. He's kind of buff, so his creatine, yeah, you know what I mean? I got y'all. You know what I'm saying? Me and Skip got this. Me and Skip got that. Skip was outdated since he told Shannon, "Put your glasses back on." So once he did that, Skip was already in bad favor with people. So to denounce a Hall of Fame player and guy who has way more credibility than you as far as on the field, to say put your glasses back on because another guy was way better than him. No, Tom Brady was not way better than Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp was a tight end. So Tom Brady was not a better Hall of Fame tight end than Shannon Sharp. You can't compare positions. So that's kind of ridiculous. So in saying that, Gil's Arenas I hope he comes back. I used to like the lady that they used to have. She used to have beef with McCants. I don't want to say her name. I don't think her name is Lexi, but she's a former player who never played in the WNBA, but whatever. Yeah, she's eye candy. It's not for that reason. It's because she knew basketball. When she started talking about what a leader is and stuff, like, she knew what she was talking about. And McCants, because he was being the dominant, I'm the alpha male, he was knocking everything she was saying, but he was wrong. She wasn't. So if he brings her back to the fold with Josiah, Nick, he might bring her for comic relief. Kenya Martin, I like Kenya, but Kenya's too serious. He's too serious. And when we watch podcasts or YouTube channels, it's for entertainment. We want to get information and hear your opinion, but we want to have fun doing it. We don't want you to say, "Shut up." Some people like that. Some people like the controversy because that sells tickets. Gilbert probably likes that too. But it's called Follow the Leader. Rakim made a song. Follow the leader, Rakim say. He said follow the leader. Once you see Gilbert going out the front door, going out the front door, that's what they should have did. But they tried to hold on, thinking, "Nah, we're going to get more money here. If Gilbert is gone, all that money could come to us." And they're all out the front door. So that's just my take on Gilbert's Arenas. Please like, subscribe, share, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think about that topic. And we'll take a little break and we'll be right back. We're back with DA Speaks. Thank you for joining in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, share, whether on YouTube. This is our returning day. I'm returning, so I feel good. Once a week, I'll be moving toward coming once a week, and then eventually maybe every day. But right now, my brother's busy. I'm busy. I can't be every day. But I could come once a week just to sit in your living rooms, your kitchens, wherever you at, and kind of chop it up with you. The next topic I want to talk about is the Speak Easy Crew podcast. The most entertainment that I've seen since Gilbert Arenas. I kind of like the Speak Easy guys. I've always loved TJ Uzmazada as a receiver with the Cincinnati Bengals. Shady has always been one of my favorite running backs because he talks the talk wall to wall. I call him the NFL Floyd Mayweather because he talks a lot of trash, but he can kind of back it up. Acho, journey guy, made the pros. People knock him, but I'm gonna tell you what, it takes a lot to make it. So the fact that my brother made it, say what you want about him. He's a ring chaser. He tries to do this. He tries to do whatever you say. Acho is very entertaining. Trey, I love what I like about Trey, social media Trey, because he loves his wife, man. Everything's about his wife, his baby, his other baby coming up, or his new baby coming. So I like the show. Care Bear, I never knew he was 6'3". So every time I watch the show, I see him and they keep saying he's larger than life, 300 pounds, 290, 6'3". I never knew he was that big until they started mentioning. I was like, wow, that's a big dude. Did he play sports? And then I found out he didn't play college ball or the NFL. He's just a big guy, blessed with those good genes. I love their show. What I dislike about it, they're not having real facts when they talk stuff. Like they talk about somebody's great because it is somebody's great for that. Somebody's a Hall of Famer. And they give out Hall of Fame like they give out government cheese in the inner cities back in the 80s. Like the Hall of Fame is something that you earned. And this excuse my French, this fake ass ring culture where you gotta have rings to be great, that's unheard of. And I'm gonna explain to you why they do that. But let's go back to that. When they claim somebody's great just because they have rings, or you try to denounce Wilt Chamberlain or Bill Russell because of who they played against and they was ahead of their time, and then they want to bring up rings, and then it doesn't matter how great somebody is. Are they saying that because it helps people hold on to the Michael Jordan train as being the greatest ever? Because you can't say in 1 minute your stats and what you do matters, and then when you have rings, say no, it's the rings that matter. Because then that means Robert Horry is the greatest forward ever because he has 7. That means Bob Cousy is the greatest person ever because he has 11 with Bill Russell. You can't denounce when somebody plays. You can't say, oh, excuse me. You can't say, oh, because Wilt Chamberlain played back then and he was averaging 50 and 20 and he was the greatest ever, but we can't count him because his stats don't mean anything. He won 1 ring. He can't help when his mother and father decided to reproduce and have him. He can't help the year he was born. He had no choice in that. He only could play with the hand he's dealt. Like a lot of people try to sound smart. They go, it's chess, not checkers. First of all, most of you guys don't even know how to play chess. You read up on it, you look up on it, you make a couple of wins, and you think you can play chess. Play against those guys in Russia, you'll never win a single game. So saying that it's not chess, it's checkers, how you manipulate, no. For me, it's spades. It's playing with the hand I'm dealt. It's playing with the cards on the table. And if the cards don't line up to show me face cards or spades, I still got to make a book regardless and work with what I got. So to me, a smarter analogy is like it's spades, because that's what the game of spades teach you. But let's keep going. Everybody acts like Michael Jordan only played in 1990. They don't remember that in the 80s, early 80s, he was getting his ASS kicked and swept. Now, here's the key. Oh, Michael Jordan has never made it to a 7th game. Okay, and before the triangle offense and Scottie Pippen, he never made it to a 7th game. He was getting swept. He was losing 4 games to 2. He was losing 4 games to 1. So to use the fact that, oh, he's never went to a 7th game. He's never went to a 7th game. Because before the triangle and Michael and Scottie Pippen, he didn't go to a 7th game because he was getting swept. So I don't understand the hype about that. Now, if it wasn't for Scottie Pippen, you can say, but no. If it wasn't for Tex Winters and that triangle offense, how many rings Jordan got? 6. How many do the triangle offense got? 11 with Phil Jackson, and I think another 4 with Steve Kerr. So 15 championships the triangle offense got. So without Michael Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, the Triangle Office still has 8 more championships. If I did my math right. Jordan has 6. They have 14. 6 or 14, 8 more championships. Now, if you want to add Scottie Pippen in there, yeah, because as great as a defender people want to claim Michael Jordan was, do they remember that Scottie Pippen checked Mark Jackson when he played the Pacers? Scottie Pippen checked Gary Payton. Scottie Pippen got on Magic Johnson. Are they forgetting that? Or do people have amnesia? Oh, now, I will always say this. If I call Michael Jordan the greatest, it's because what he did for basketball. Back to my arguments before. It's what Hulk Hogan did for wrestling. It's what Michael Jackson did for music. That's why you call him the greatest. But pound for pound, we all know Lebron James is the greatest basketball player to ever play. Now, I hate that we do that with our greats. Why do we always have to say to our greats who's good, who's not good, who's whatever? But if we're going to do that, we know LeBron James is the greatest. Longevity, stats, difference of game. For example, you want to say Wilt Chamberlain don't count, Bill Russell don't count because of who they played against? Who did Michael Jordan play against? A bunch of cocaine smoking, cigar toting, alcohol drinking, 30 women in a hotel room sleeping with, tight ass panties, underwears, Fruit of Maloons they wore as basketball shorts, without an athletic bone in their body. That's who Michael Jordan played with. He was before his time. Because when people like Penny Hardaway came in, Tracy McGrady's, Vince Carter, people like that, J.R. Ryder, Harold Miner, when those people started coming in, then all of a sudden, Jordan is getting old now. But Jordan won because he had to win. They had to make him win. We all know about these Illuminatis and all this stuff going on. How do we know a deal wasn't made? He went through tragedy. No disrespect, because we all go through tragedy. But his father was a little premature, disappeared from people who they know didn't really do it, right? He was losing way before he signed that deal with Soros and Nikes and all that stuff, right? He always had something bad about him, but did something good happen, right? He was the first owner, besides Robert Johnson of the Charlotte Hornets. He was an owner way before his time, right? He was one of the first athletes that became a billionaire, right? So you want to say this about Puffy and Jay-Z and Michael Jackson and all these other people, but you don't think Michael Jordan did something to get himself where he was? You think that was all hard work? He wasn't even a number 1 pick. They didn't even think he would be a good professional. I mean, a good pro, or a pro that could lead a team. So it's funny the things we say about a LeBron James or people like that, but we don't think about that when it comes to Michael Jordan. Like, LeBron James, for 24 years in the NBA, have been nothing but greatness. Nothing but greatness. And then was touted before he didn't even go to college. Imagine if he had the Dean Smith like Michael Jordan. Imagine if he had the Rick Pitino. Imagine if he would have had any great college, John Thompson. You don't think LeBron would even be better than what he is now? He has 4 different teams, and he's a Hall of Famer in all 4 stops. People say, oh, but where's he going to go now? Where's he going to go now? He's going to go wherever he wants to go. He's going to go wherever he wants to go. So back to Speakeasy. I'm kind of combined Lebron with but back to Speakeasy. I think they poo-poo stuff and overemphasize stuff that they're not talking real basketball facts. I wish sometimes they would allow us to call in and not just to chat, but call in and actually have a real debate with them on the show, because they'll see how knowledgeable your boy really is. So we'll take a little break and I'll be back. We're back, and I have to say, go New York, go New York, go. The New York Knicks, baby. World champions. Been waiting my whole life. Never seen them win, never seen them celebrate. I became a Knicks fan. I used to like the Lakers, but I became a Knicks fan because of Patrick Ewing. That's the one thing my step pops, and I shout out to Mr. Tyndall, Raymond Tyndall. One of the first things him and I did together was watch when the Knicks won the draft lottery stuff to get Patrick Ewing. It was the lottery. We didn't get Ewing yet, but everybody knew he was going to be the defensive All-America. Now, my pops used to like Dave Bing and all of them. So, and liking that, I remember the Knicks, and I remember Kenny Bannister, Lewis Orr, Roy Sparrow, Darryl Walker. Those are the Knicks I remember. Jawan Oldham, Bill Cartwright. And after that, they got Patrick Ewing, and I remember loving Patrick Ewing because that's the guy I embraced. Had the Ewing sneakers, used to play center at my position, even though I wasn't as tall as other guys, but I used to play center because I loved Patrick Ewing. And in my neighborhood, shout out to the Boogie Down, my old neighborhood, whatever player you like, that's what you had to play in that position. So if you liked Ewing or Keene or anybody, you had to play center. If you liked Jordan, you played the two guard. If you liked back then Isaiah Magic, you had to play you played point guard. If you liked Bird or anything with Dominique, you played small forward. So our block embraced the players that we liked. So in our neighborhood, it wasn't always about college. It was our alma mater. Our alma mater was who we liked. So I've always been a Knicks fan, and from the Reggie Miller and the choke thing, way back to the Charles Smith getting his shot blocked by Pippen and a whole bunch of people instead of just dunking it, because we remember the Charles Smith that dunked from Pitt. He played for the University of the Pitt Panthers, and he was the first college player we see dunk the ball, break the glass. So for Pippen and them to be able to block him and keep us from going that year was kind of weird. I think we was up 2-0 in that series. But I've always been a Knicks fan. It was great. I think you saw my other Facebook situation where I sung the old song, mixing it with the new song to bring up the Knicks and all that stuff. But yeah, I just was so excited that we won. I remember celebrating where I'm at now with people that were just so happy for me. They hugged me, and I called my boy Al the Pal. Shout outs to Al the Pal, big bro. And we won. It was great, and it just felt good. Now, free agency, we ain't doing anything. I mean, we've signed up the people we had already. But I felt this is our time since we won. We should have got busy. Forget Giannis, but we should have went after Jaylen Brown. We should have did some things different, because I felt strike while the iron is hot. We won. Now let's go all in. But there's nothing to say for chemistry. James Dolan not wanting to go over the second apron, but didn't mind Bronson taking a pay cut for him. So people are upset that we lost Mitchell Robinson. I respect Mitchell Robinson, but there's other big men out there that has a little bit more quality that can still play the same defense, but give us a little bit more on offense when Cat is in foul trouble. So I'm heard about Mitch Robinson. I really wish we would have got the guy from the Lakers. I forget his name. His name is Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes. His father played in the NFL, Jonathan, but we should have got Jackson Hayes because he's an athletic big man that he's a force to be reckoned with. I wish we would have got him. I would have loved to get him. Maybe we're looking to do something now, and by the time this take is over, we might have signed 2 or 3 other free agent big men, but I really wish we'd have got Jackson Hayes. But that's all for that. This is my first day back, so like I said, I'm gonna keep it smooth, simple, and I'll be more ready for you next week. But my last take will be about where I think Mr. James will play. We're back. Our final topic today: where do I believe LeBron James will play? My answer: anywhere a billionaire wants to play. Anywhere a billionaire wants to play. It's his money, so he can decide to play wherever he wants to play, especially if it's for the league minimum. If he wants a real ring, a real shot at a ring, New York and Philly. If he wants a real shot at a ring, New York and Philly. It won't work in New York because he's ball dominant, but New York and Philly if he wants to win. But his legacy is what it is, because if he wins another ring, he's the greatest ever, regardless of what you say. 4 different stops, 4 different teams, 4 different championships. Mic drop. Doesn't matter what you say to me. If he wants to have fun, where basketball is played the right way, and he can have fun, take time off, laugh on the bench, Golden State. Because the fun him and Steph Curry had in Golden State was just unbelievable. I mean, in the Olympics, when they was in the Olympics representing the Dream Team, and he was from Golden State, and he was from LA, and they got together and played together. He just knew where to put the ball. Steph was like, pop. Steph knew where to put it, LeBron. It'll look great. It'll be great basketball with Draymond being a facilitator. If he gets the rebound, he can go. Draymond get it, he can go. Steph get it, he can. It's going to be fun. It's going to be like an AAU team. They're going to be a geriatric AAU team. So maybe you call it an AARP team. So maybe instead of AAU team, it's an AARP team. But it's going to be fun watching them play. It would be must-see TV. I don't care what anybody say. It would be must-see TV, for real. If it's just a feel-good, it's all over, that's it, it would be Cleveland. Because win or lose, he's accepted in Cleveland now. So it doesn't matter. But if it's business, if it's whatever, Golden State or New York. If it's to win a chip, New York or Philly. If it's just a feel-good, yay, Cleveland. But if it's a have fun and we're going to enjoy basketball, because it's not about money for me, Golden State. Also, I'm a Knicks fan, so I would never say this because I can't stand this team. I used to like them a little bit, but I can't stand them because how they was trying to hurt Brunson and play dirty. But if he wants to win a ring, New York, Philly, you're going to laugh, but San Antonio Spurs. If he went to the Spurs, it's over. New York, Philly, San Antonio, definitely a ring is coming. Oklahoma City, yeah, but he won't fit there. He'll fit in San Antonio. He'll fit in New York. And he'll definitely fit in Philly. But again, where will LeBron James go? Wherever a billionaire wants to go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Share, like, subscribe, view. Like I said, it's first day back, so just getting back into the swing of things. Getting over a cold, but I wanted to be blessed with you guys and also bless you guys. Successful person makes it despite an obstacle, not because there wasn't any. Shout outs to DA Sports, and make it a great day, and God bless.